माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजना यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजना। यमुना तीरावनचारी यमुना तीरावनचारी यमुना तीरा। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय श्रील प्रभुपाद। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नंदगोपकुमाराय Govindaya Namo Namaha. Srimad Bhagavatam 1.18.48. Three times. Tiraskrata vipralabdha shapta kshipta hata api nasya tat pratikurvanti tad bhakta prabhavopihi. Tiraskrata vipralabdha shapta kshipta hata api nasya tat pratikurvanti tad bhakta prabhavopihi. Tiraskrata vipralabdha shapta kshipta hata api nasya tat pratikurvanti tad bhakta prabhavopihi. Translation and purport. Tiraskrata vipralabdha shapta hata api nasya tat pratikurvanti tad bhakta prabhavopihi. Tiraskrata vipralabdha shapta kshipta hata api nasya tat pratikurvanti Tiraskrata vipralabdha shapta kshipta hata api nasya tat pratikurvanti tad bhakta prabhavopihi. Tiraskrata vipralabdha shapta kshipta hata api nasya tat pratikurvanti tad bhakta prabhavopihi. Word to word. Tiraskrata, being defamed. Vipralabdha, being cheated. Shapta, being cursed. Kshipta, disturbed by negligence. Hata, or even being killed. Api, also. Na, never. Asya, for all these acts. Tat, them. Pratikurvanti, counteract. Tat, the Lord's. Bhakta, devotees. Prabhavaha, powerful. Api, although. He, certainly. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. The devotees of the Lord are so forbearing that even though they are defamed, cheated, cursed, disturbed, neglected, or even killed, they are never inclined to avenge themselves. Purport. Rishi Shamika also knew that the Lord does not forgive a person who has committed an offense at the feet of a devotee. The Lord can only give direction to take shelter of the devotee. He thought within himself that if Maharaj Parikshit would countercurse the boy, he might be saved. But he knew also that a pure devotee is careless about worldly advantages or reverses. As such, the devotees are never inclined to counteract personal defamation, curses, negligence, etc. As far as such things are concerned, in personal affairs, the devotees do not care for them. But in the case of their being performed against the Lord and his devotees, then the devotees take very strong action. It was a personal affair, and therefore Shamika Rishi knew that king would not take counteraction. Thus, there was no alternative than to place an appeal to the Lord for the immature boy. It is not that only the Brahmanas are powerful enough to avoid curses or blessings upon the subordinates. The devotee of the Lord, even though he may not be a Brahmana, is more powerful than a Brahmana. But a powerful devotee never misuses the power for personal benefit. Whatever power the devotee may have is always utilized in the service towards the Lord and his devotees only. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathanitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna De Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimater Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namne Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gauratishe Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Kesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Shri Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktarinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna English will be fine. English please. Yes. First of all, I would like to thank all the devotees for giving me this opportunity. Although I'm not qualified to sit on Vaishnava, from my personal spiritual practice or my qualification, I'm not supposed to sit on Vaishnava and speak. But by devotees' mercy, I have got this instruction to speak. So for my personal purification, I will try to speak something, whatever I have heard from my seniors, superiors, and spiritual master. So I request all the devotees to show your mercy and blessings on me so that I will be able to speak from the parampara. Hare Krishna. So this section, all of you have been going through, all of us have been going through, how Parikshit Maharaj, he faced such a reversal in his life. Although for a small mistake what he committed, he got such a big curse to be killed by Takshaka within 7 days. And as soon as Shamika Rishi heard that his son has cursed Parikshit Maharaj, So what was his consciousness? How he was reacting to the situation? You can see. Shamika Rishi was personally, he was very much, he became distressed that his son committed such a big mistake, because he knew that Parishit Maharaj is, he's a great soul, and such a king, he was ruling the whole world so nicely that even Kali could not enter. So he knew that if we lose such a king, then it is a great loss to whole society. So he was personally feeling so much morose, so much unhappy about his son cursing the king. At the same time, now he was thinking what to do next, because he also knew, Prabhupada writes in the purport that Shamika Rishi knew that if only Parikshit Maharaj gives a counter curse, he was feeling okay if Parikshit Maharaj counter curses his own son. But Parikshit Maharaj should have been saved. That's what he was feeling. But he also knew that Parikshit Maharaj will not do so, because Parikshit Maharaj, because it is something related to personal affair. Like in personal affair, devotees do not care for any such things. Like personally, he was cursed. If it was happened to someone else, he might have taken some action. But because it was happening for himself, so then he was not taking any action. What was his consciousness? Parikshit Maharaj's consciousness is going to come in further verses also. So, so here, Shamika Rishi is meditating upon this, how the devotees of the Lord, they are not inclined to avenge themselves. What is the meaning of avenge themselves? It is very natural that if we undergo any of these 5 difficulties, so first one is written Tiraskrata. Tiraskrata means being defamed. Someone defames us, someone utilizes our name in a wrong way. They spread ill about us. So this is Tiraskrata. Vipralabdha means being cheated. Shapta means being cursed. So in this case, Parishit Maharaj is being cursed. Kshipta. Kshipta means disturbed by negligence. Someone do not give any respect or anything like that. So one is neglected, that is Kshipta. And in this case, Parikshit Maharaj is given curse to death, that is Hata, even being killed. So in all these cases, devotee do not disturb if it is for personal case. So like that, Shamika Rishi is feeling, like he was thinking, meditating upon this. So this is something called as no retaliation. So the devotees of the Lord, they do not react, they do not retaliate if anything, any such fighting happens for themselves. So this is for like devotees who has such a consciousness, who has taken shelter to the lotus feet of the Lord. So if a devotee takes, like this is the quality of a devotee which attracts the Lord, that is tolerance and forbearance. And devotee do not has a revengeful attitude. Revengeful attitude. If someone do not care for us, I mean, they neglect us, then naturally so many thoughts come in our mind that he is doing like this. He is doing like this to me. So then we also start planning, what can I do so that I can counteract this. So this is in material world, this is called as tit for tat. So anybody does anything to me, I will do correctly opposite, and I will defeat that person. This tit for tat. In material world, this is considered one of the great act, because nobody should do anything against me. Means uh, when we are in a bodily consciousness, anything happens to me, our false ego, then we cannot hold it, we cannot digest it. But in spiritual life, it is exactly opposite. Any devotee who can tolerate all this, he is going to be considered as greatest in the eyes of the Lord. That's why tolerance and forbearance is considered it's one of the abhushan of a devotee. There are different qualities of a Vaishnava. So these are one of the great qualities of a Vaishnava. If a devotee, even though suppose anyone, any devotee, we may also find, okay, here in this case, Parikshit Maharaj did not retaliate. So we may also find in Srimad Bhagavatam many cases where Narada giving curses to others who did not act properly against him. So when such saintly people give curses, takes any action upon a wrongdoer, so that is for what? That is to bring right consciousness among the person, and that is for the well wish, that like good for a person. That's why any kind of actions taken by such great saints, so this is only for better transformation of the person. And this compassion, mercy, these are the qualities we can find in Srimad Bhagavatam. So many characters we go through. We have Chitraketu Maharaj, Parikshit Maharaj, Ambarish Maharaj, like even the Pandavas themselves. So many devotees. Srimad Bhagavatam is filled with glories of such devotees. So, and again, here, when we say that tolerance and forbearance of a devotee, so tolerance and forbearance of a devotee doesn't mean devotee allows oneself to exploit himself. So it doesn't mean like the tolerant doesn't mean devotee allows oneself to exploit oneself, but he does whatever is required, but at the same time, he do not develop the grudge or the revengeful attitude for the person who is doing wrong acts against him. Like in Bhagavatam also, like so many instances come, even for the Pandavas also. So Drona's son Ashwatthama, he killed all 5 sons of Pandavas. And when Arjuna catches him and comes back to all the when all the Pandavas are there, Draupadi is there. So that time, so we can see the consciousness of the Pandavas, even consciousness of a Draupadi, that yes, it is surely wrong that he killed 5 of my sons. But if you kill Drona, son of Drona, it is as good as offending our own Guru. And our Guru Mata, she is also become widow. So that was the consciousness of Draupadi. So Arjuna and the Pandavas, they killed the Kauravas in the battlefield. But that was not like they were having the grudge or the what you call it as revengeful attitude for the Kauravas. They were going against the adharma, and because of the instructions of Krishna, they fought and they killed all the Kauravas. So although any devotee takes an action externally, but internally he always he do not have any revengeful attitude. So it is said these 5 types of miseries. So it is explained here. First one is Tiraskrita, Vipralabdha, Shapta, Kshipta, Hata. So 5 types of miseries. These 5 types of miseries are inevitable to come, whoever one may be. So in this material world, uh, material nature is so much designed that anyone in this world has to undergo all these 5 miseries. So the first one is like Tiraskrita. Tiraskrita means being defamed. So it is like being neglected, being defamed. His name is wrongly spread among other people. So in this material world, as soon as one becomes very famous, then obviously others will try to, because natural envy is there. Envy means we do not like anyone who's growing more faster. So as soon as one start becoming famous, people cannot tolerate. So what they do is they try to pull the leg of other. They try to find faults. Then they try to spread wrong about the person, so that he should not become so famous. So we have seen so many examples in Shastras also. Haridas Thakur himself was so much defamed. His name was so much wrongly spread among all the society. And one of the example I would like to take here is Lord Shiva himself. So Lord Shiva is considered as Vaishnavanam Yathashambhu. So he is considered one of the greatest of all the demigods. And Lord Shiva himself, when he was so once there was an assembly of all the devatas. So Daksha, he enters the assembly and all the devatas, they stand up. Only 2 of them did not stand up. That is Brahma as well as Shiva. Brahma was father of Daksha. So so therefore he did not stand up. And Shiva did not stand up. And as soon as he observed this, he became very furious. He became very angry. So in his eyes, Shiva was only his son-in-law. It's because his daughter, Sati, was married to Lord Shiva. So he was thinking that he did not give respects to me. So now, later, actually he left that assembly because of he felt as if he was neglected. But he was not able to understand the greatness of Lord Shiva. Actually, Daksha is not a small person. Daksha is, in order to become Daksha, so one should have so much pious credits, or he should have done so much punya, and he should have done so many sacrifices. And Brahma himself is giving instructions to Daksha that you take this responsibility of expanding the progeny. So Daksha, he took that responsibility. He was doing it very well. And Brahma was also very happy about it. He was so exalted, but unfortunately, he did not understand the exalted position of Lord Shiva. The Lord Shiva is considered Vaishnavanam Yathashambhu, and he is always in the meditation of Lord Sankarshan, Lord Vishnu. So at that situation, when Daksha entered, actually Lord Shiva was meditating on Lord Vishnu, because of which he did not stand up. So Daksha did not understand this. So what he did is he actually became Prajapati. Brahma gave him position of Prajapati. So then he became more puffed up. So then he openly started defaming Lord Shiva. That he called Lord Shiva as monkey faced. He called Lord Shiva is staying with the bhutas, pretas, and so many. And he told that now onwards, Lord Shiva should not get the oblations, sacrifices. In the yajna, they do swaha. So Lord Shiva should not get. So that policy he made. So all this, he started spreading wrong names about Shiva. So later, 2 of the major yajnas he performed, he did not call Shiva. neither he informed his own daughter Sati. So that time when Lord Shiva and Sati, they were sitting together, and Sati, she was observing that so many people are going to the yajna, and she also expressed that she also wants to go. So that time, it is written actually in Srimad Bhagavatam. It comes in Srimad Bhagavatam, 4th canto. So actually, Lord Sati expresses that she wants to go. So that time, Shiva explains to her that actually it is not good for you to go. So there, we can see the consciousness of Lord Shiva, that although he was defamed, he was getting to know everything, that Daksha is defaming his name. So, but he was not worried about it. What was his consciousness? It is written in 4.3.21. So it is written, one who is conducted by false ego and thus always distressed, both mentally and sensually, cannot tolerate the opulence of self-realized person. Being unable to rise to the standard of self-realization, he envies such persons as much as demons envy the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So he knew that Daksha is spreading ill about him, but he was not worried about it. So he knew that Daksha is affected by false ego and he is doing all this. So he didn't want to go. Neither he expressed Sati that you go. So he told that it is not good to go because it is good as death. If you go there and you hear in the last shloka, he says, Shiva says that in spite of this instruction, if you decide to go, so then in future it is not good for you. You are most respectable, and when you are insulted by your own relatives, that insult is immediately equal to death. So like that he says. And so then Sati goes and she says that oblations are not offered to Shiva, and the Shiva is neglected and she is also being neglected. So there she says she becomes very angry, and she tells to Daksha that actually Lord Shiva is greatest of all devotees. And what is the consciousness of Lord Shiva? She explains that Lord Shiva is most beloved of all living entities. He has no rivals. No one is very dear to him, and no one is his enemy. And Lord Shiva do not find faults with anyone. Okay. Only the men like you can find simple small faults in the qualities of others. And Lord Shiva, however, not only finds no faults with others, but if someone has little good quality, he magnifies it greatly. Unfortunately, you have found fault with such a great soul. She says. And she also says this verse. This is a very famous verse actually. She says that if one hears an irresponsible person blaspheming the master and the controller of the religion, one should block his ears and go away if unable to punish him. But if one is able to kill, one should by force cut out the blasphemer's tongue and kill the offender, and after that one should give up one's own life. So this is a famous shloka where she quotes this, and then she commits herself, like she burns herself. So here we can see that Lord Shiva, although he was defamed, what was his consciousness? And in this material world, it is bound to happen, whether in material life or in spiritual life. Even in spiritual life, so what, like we can see in Chaitanya Charitamrita so many examples. When a particular devotee is growing in his devotional service, so then if any person sees with a wrong intention, so their names were also defamed. So it is very natural in this world that people do not take everything in a positive way. Although we may be very sincere, we may be very doing our best, but there is scope of misunderstanding, there is scope of so many things, because it is Kali Yuga. So therefore this is bound to happen. The second one is Vipralabdha, being cheated. The best example for this is Pandavas. And in this material world, cheating, like we hear that people, our senses are not perfect, then we get illusioned and then we cheat. So this cheating propensity is there for everyone. We see so much advertisements are there. So why they do so much advertisements? Even though the product may not be good. So there is another best way of cheating, that if somebody, a lot of propaganda is done, this is good, this is good, this is good, then obviously people start feeling it is good, although it may not be good. So it is a cheating. So in this world, so much avenues are there. People cheat each other. So Prabhupada used to say that because there are people who wants to get cheated, there are people who cheat. So now, like we tend to, like if you see the Pandavas, so they were supposed to be the rulers of the world, and when the Pandu died, so they the Pandavas and Kunti, they came back to the Hastinapur. So there they came back to the capital city. So Dhritarashtra, he welcomed everyone, and later as his sons were growing, so the Duryodhana, Dushasana, the Kauravas, they were having so much envy for this Pandavas, because they knew that Pandavas, if they take up the rulership, so then, so they will, because of their virtue, they will become so famous that there is no scope for us. So therefore he always used to think what best we can do so that we can remove these 5 people, Pandavas, from the scene only. So Kunti tells in the shloka, Vishan Mahagne, Purushada Darshanat, Asat Sabhaya, Vanavasakrit. So all this, so many series happens that they feed poison to Bhima, and so many things they do. And that doesn't work. So later, so they first convinced the Dhritarashtra that if you allow Pandavas to grow, so then your sons will have to beg on the streets. So just think about it. So if you allow us to do what we want to do, you just allow us to do. So then Dhritarashtra, being affected by the parental affection, so he allowed them to do. So then Duryodhana, they planned so many things. Actually, Varnavata, that Karpura Dharmane, Lakshagraha. So actually, they plan that, okay, we will send them to Varnavata, Lakshagraha. So there they will stay for many years. They will make them stay, and they appointed one person. So Duryodhana told him that if you do this job, then I will give you half of the kingdom. So then that person became very happy. I forgot the name of that person. So he went and he invited, he made all the preparations basically. So that time Dhritarashtra himself calls the Pandavas and he says that, so we have done very nice arrangement for all of you to stay, and you can be peacefully stay in this place, and all the facilities we will do. And he convinces them, he sends. And Dharmaraj, Yudhishthir. So Yudhishthir heard this, so he understood there should be something wrong in this. But because it is the order of his superior, he told, yes, we will go. And on the way, so Vidura told them, so there is going to be danger, but he cannot tell directly. So he told in a coding language. So only Yudhishthir could understand. So that coding language. And all the Pandavas asked him that Vidura told you something we do not understand. Then Yudhishthir told that I think there is some plan to burn us in the place. So as soon as they went, so Yudhishthir told Bhima that you go there and check the material, what material this palace is made from. So then Bhima easily could understand this is all made up of something which can be burnt very easily. So then they were so much careful that any day they can be burnt. So all of them, they were so much attentive even in the night. And they also understood that the person who was appointed by Duryodhana, he was so much respectful for them. So it is said, Ativiniyam Durta Lakshana. He was so much caring for them. They understood that this fellow is going to do, this fellow is the trouble creator. So then they planned that they made a tunnel, and almost 1 year they passed it like this. Every day they were attentive. Today there may be, it may happen. Today it may happen. So then they felt that what we can do is we will only burn it and we'll run away. So they burnt they put the fire and they escaped from the tunnel, and everybody was thinking that they died. So we see it in Mahabharata, so many examples come that how Pandavas, they were cheated, and what were their consciousness? Actually, they were they were ready to compromise to 5 villages. They were supposed to be the rulers of the whole world, but they were ready to compromise for 5 villages also. But Duryodhana was not ready for that. So then the war happened. The consciousness of the Pandavas was, even though this war happened, everything happened, all the Kauravas, they died, and they did war only on the instruction of Krishna. But still Yudhishthir was feeling that, he was lamenting that this whole war happened because of my reason. So he was thinking like that. And even when they were living in the forest, even Duryodhana was very much cautious that somehow he wanted to catch them where they are, because that was Ajnatavas. If they get to know where they are, so then again they have to go, they can send them for 12 more years. So Duryodhana was trying to search. So in sometime what happens is he get caught by Gandharva and he was about to be killed. So that time, what was the consciousness of the Pandavas? Yudhishthira tells that for outside we have to be one. Pandavas and Kauravas are from the same dynasty. Inside there may be so many misunderstandings, but when it's from outside, we should be one. So he tells Arjuna to go there and save. So Arjuna saves the Duryodhana. So although Duryodhana's intention was wrong, but still, so Pandavas were having that consciousness. They saved Duryodhana. So this is Vipralabdha, second one. This is being cheated. So third one is Shapta. Shapta means being cursed. So because what is the meaning of being cursed? Cursed means shapa. In this material world, what will happen is we may try to do our best, but it is not possible that we will be able to please everyone. So in this material world, it is never possible that we please everyone. So anyone who is dissatisfied, obviously they will curse. Okay, so this was my expectation and this did not go. This person did this. So the hell happened to him. So people curse. So this is called as Shapta. in Srimad Bhagavatam also we see so many examples of being cursed. So Narada Muni, we can take example of Narada Muni. So Daksha was very much he was doing his job of expanding the generations, and he got many sons, Haryashvas, 1,000 sons, 10,000. Haryashvas, they were 10,000. So he created 10,000 sons, and he told all these Haryashvas, their names was Haryashvas, and he told them, you go to the forest and do tapasya, and then you come back and help in expanding the progeny. So they goes to tapasya, and there Narada Muni they meet. Narada Muni gives wonderful instructions, and so Narada Muni tells many coded languages they understand, and so they understand what is the purpose of life. So then what they do is they feel that why should we get entangled? So let us worship the Supreme Lord and go back to Godhead. So then they don't come back. So as soon as Daksha hears this, first time he will be quiet. So then again second time. So Shavalashvas. So again 1,000 this time. 10,000 next 1,000. So 1,000 sons. So this 1,000 sons again he tells the same instruction. Go to the forest and do tapasya, then you come back. So that time Narada Muni, again they meet Narada Muni, and Narada Muni says that your brothers have taken very wonderful path and you can also follow them. And they also follow. So the Shavalasvas and Haryashvas, all they actually they go to the path of renunciation. So that time Daksha, when he heard this, and he was very much unhappy. So then actually Narada Muni, he comes to Daksha that time, and this Daksha was very much furious, and he starts directly scolding Narada Muni. He says that my sons were not at all freed from their debts, the debts to the forefathers, debts to devatas. Means they are supposed to get married and they are supposed to create childrens, and they are supposed to enjoy this material world. Then they should go for renunciation. But you have done such a mistake that you have instructed them, and immaturely they have become renunciates. So therefore, you are committing a violence. So he says to Narada Muni that you are committing violence against living entities, and you claim yourself to be the associate of Lord Vishnu. So you say yourself that you are devotee of Lord Vishnu, and you are doing such an action. So all the devotees of the Lord are very kind. It is known that all devotees are very kind to conditioned souls, and you are looking yourself, you are showing yourself as a devotee, and but you are doing this kind of work. And are you not ashamed? So like that he speaks. So then he says that you have made me to lose my sons once, not once, twice. So therefore, you are a rascal. Okay, he says, Narada Muni, that you are a rascal, and you travel to all over place, and I will curse you that you have no residence. So like this he says. So you cannot stay in one place. So Narada Muni, although Narada Muni being cursed that you are not supposed to stay in one place. So Narada Muni, what was the response of Narada Muni? You can see here, Narada Muni heard this very silently, and he replied, Tat Baddham. Yes, whatever you have said is good, I will accept this. And why did Narada Muni first of all come to this place? And why did Narada Muni accepted the curse? That is for the benefit of Daksha. So it is written here that if this was continued, then Daksha would have kept so many thoughts about Narada Muni, and he would have done more offenses. So therefore, Narada Muni personally came, and as soon as Daksha spoke all this, his all anger was gone. So, so that he did for the benefit of Daksha. So fourth one is Kshipta. Kshipta means disturbed by negligence. Disturbed by negligence means, suppose we come across a devotee and we say Hare Krishna, the devotee do not see also when he goes away. We feel, Hare, I wished him, still he did not wish. I think he doesn't like me, or he has some wrong thoughts about me. So many thoughts starts coming. When we get neglected, we start feeling so many thoughts starts coming, because in this material world, especially this modern material world, fast world, okay, everything is very fast. So what will happen? People are more of self-centered, selfish, and not so much broad-minded. So then what will happen? As soon as we come across any such situations, then we feel neglected. Either sometimes neglect happens by mistake, or sometimes neglect happens intentionally also. And so when we feel like that, when we feel neglected, obviously, then we try to do tit for tat. So we are neglected, then I will also show. So we can take example for this. Disturbed by negligence is Vidura. So throughout his stay in Hastinapur, and every time they used to call him and they used to ask his opinion. So what do you feel about it? And Vidura always told right opinion only. No, this is correct, this is wrong. So he was not like, I am living in this place, I am being supported by Duryodhana, so I will little bit please him. So no, he always told the truth. And when he was telling the truth, everyone, so he was the only person who was in that place, who is following the dharma, and throughout himself and Bhishma, except both of them, everyone was trying to occupy this kingdom, try to cheat Pandavas, they tried to kill Pandavas. So he was living among them, but still he was like a lotus flower who was unaffected by the dirt. So every time they used to ask him that what is best in this situation, and he used to tell that you are, he used to call Duryodhana, you are a rascal, you are doing wrong thing, you should not do it. But Duryodhana used to feel that this person is obstruction for my sense gratification, this person is obstruction for me to reach my goal. So he was waiting for the situation. Duryodhana knew that Vidura was a virtuous person. Duryodhana knew, but he may be virtuous, but what to do? He is blocking my goal. So he was ready to actually throw him out. So actually, before the war, so again they actually call the Vidura and they ask, so in this situation, what to do? So that time Vidura comes and he tells that you must now return the legitimate share to the Yudhishthir, who has no enemies. Yudhishthir is considered Ajatashatru, he has no enemies. But still you have some problem with Yudhishthir. So Yudhishthir is not the problem creator, you are the problem creator. And he is waiting with his younger brothers, among whom is a revengeful Bhima. So this comes in 3rd canto, 1st chapter. And he says that Lord Krishna himself is there. So if you are going to fight, you are all going to be vanquished. So it's better you give back this kingdom to the Pandavas. And he straightforwardly he tells to everyone. So then what happens is all this Duryodhana and company, there's Karna, then Shakuni, all were there. So as soon as they heard this, So Duryodhana starts speaking. Who asked to come here? You are the son of maid servant. So you are Sutaputra. You have no rights to give us suggestions. We are the ruling people, and you are only just like we are maintaining you. And why are you giving us suggestions? You get out from here. So like that uh, so with so much harsh word he starts scolding Vidura. So that time Vidura, he actually uh, he feels very bad. So then what he feels is, okay, anyway, they are not going to accept my instructions. So better I quit. So he kept his bow down and he takes this opportunity, and if he feels that I cannot fight from Kauravas, and neither I can see this whole King Kuru dynasty. Kuru dynasty is going to be destroyed. That is for sure. So therefore, what I will do is I will go on pilgrimage. So he goes to pilgrimage, and while going, actually, what was his consciousness? Actually, Duryodhana calls him Dasiputra. He calls him so many bad words. So then, what was the consciousness of Vidura? So he says uh, he was not feeling sorry, and he considered it as the act of external energy of Supreme Lord. So he felt that anything, it's Lord's plan. What is going to happen is going to happen. So I tried my best, and he leaves. So this was the consciousness of Vidura, that although he was so much being neglected, he was not avengeful to the Kauravas. And later, when all this Kaurava dynasty is finished, the Dhritarashtra was left out, and the Dhritarashtra was being maintained by Pandavas. So again, this Vidura comes back. He comes back to save the Dhritarashtra, and he gives instructions to Dhritarashtra that you are eating the same food thrown by Bhima, who killed your own son. So get out from here. So he takes him away, and he engages him in the path of bhakti, and later Dhritarashtra also perfects his life. So, so this is one of the thought, this is the external energy. This is act of external energy. So this is like as when a devotee undergoes all these situations. So the devotee feels that even though he understands that opposite person is doing all these things to me, genuinely is doing, still he feels that God is there seeing all this. Krishna is there, and it is according to his situation he's doing, and Krishna will teach him lessons why I should do. So Krishna will teach. So this will be the consciousness. So fifth one is Hata. Hata means being killed. So here the best example is Lord Parikshit himself. So he was cursed to die, although he did a small mistake of putting the garland, dead snake, on the Shamikrishi. So he was, then later he was cursed by his son to die within 7 days. But he was, what was his consciousness? So it comes in the next chapter, 19th chapter, shloka number 14. Tasyaiva me agasya paravareshu. So Supreme Personality of Godhead, the controller of both the transcendental and mundane worlds, has graciously overtaken me in the form of a Brahmana's curse. Due to my being too much attached to the family life, the Lord, in order to save me, has appeared before me in such a way that only out of fear I will detach myself from the material world. So he is feeling that this is plan of the Lord, and if he wanted to curse back, he has all capacity. So you can see that Lord himself tries to fulfill the desire of a devotee. Narsimhadev asks so much, he asks Prahlad so much that you ask some benediction. So Lord himself is there behind a devotee. So that time, if in case if a devotee is unhappy about any person, if he curses, then isn't it that Lord makes sure that his words are being followed? So Narada Muni curses anyone. Narada Muni curses Nalakuvar Manigriv. So Lord himself, so he showed all his pastimes to Nalakuvar Manigriv and he liberated them. So if a devotee is sincere in his devotional service, he doesn't want to utilize any of the things like in this purport Prabhupada writes devotee do not wants to take any advantages about anything. I am not able to get that. So Prabhupada says that reverses and advantages devotee do not considers to be personal. He knew also that pure devotee is careless about worldly advantages and reverses. So devotee has that capacity. If he curses, Lord will make it sure that it will happen. But still, that comes in that commentary. So still, devotee do not take it as an advantage that okay, if I tell anything, Lord will make it sure. Therefore, I will do whatever I want. No. So devotee will not take it for a personal advantage. So he will utilize it only for the benefit of service. So Parikshit Maharaj had all capacity to curse, but he did not curse. Even Ambarish Maharaj, when Durvas Muni was about to kill him, so what mistake Ambarish Maharaj did? So he just took a water. He wanted to break his fast. So fast breaking, but Durvas Muni did not come on time. So then what he did is, it should happen both, as if fast breaking is also done and it is also not done. So that is, he took Charanamrit. So as soon as he took Charanamrit, Durvasa Muni got to know. He cursed him that you did not follow the etiquettes and you die. So Durvasa Muni, he had all power, but he did not utilize in a right way. So, but Ambarish Maharaj had all power. He can counter curse also, but he did not curse. But we can see that Lord is always there to protect the devotees. So when we see that devotees do not have this consciousness of avenge, that is the greatness of devotees. At the same time, Lord is always there to protect them. So Lord is protecting them. So Lord, here when Ambarish Maharaj was about to be killed, Lord sent Sudarshan Chakra. Sudarshan Chakra came and Durvasa Muni, it was chasing Durvasa Muni. And Durvasa Muni went to so many people. He went to Brahma, he went to Shiva. Then Lord Shiva also told that nothing can be done. So Lord Shiva says that Lord Vishnu is protector of his devotees. Yes, Lord Vishnu says that I myself, my dear son, Lord Brahma and other demigods who rotate within this universe under the misconception of our own greatness cannot exhibit any power to compete with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Supreme Lord, only you should go to Lord Vishnu, then only he can save. When Durvasa Muni go to Lord Vishnu, then Lord Vishnu says that I cannot save. So he says that I am completely under the control of my devotees. Indeed, I am not at all independent, because my devotees are completely devoid of material desires. So when somebody has power, so then obviously they want to show it. Durvasa Muni had so much power, so he cursed. And it was showing, that was the show off of his prowess. But he says that my devotees do not want to show themselves, their power. He says that, Vishnu says that my devotees are completely devoid of material desires. Because they are devoid of material desires and their only goal of their life is to worship me and please me, I personally sit in their heart, core of their heart. And he says that without saintly person for whom I am only destination, I do not desire to enjoy my transcendental bliss and my supreme opulence. And as a chaste woman bring their gentle husbands under control by service, the pure devotees who are equal to everyone and completely attached to me in the core of the heart bring me under their full control. So the devotees, because of their service, because of their love and affection for the Lord, they bring Lord himself also under the control. Therefore he says that in the another shloka he says, this is also a very famous shloka, Sadhavo hridayam madhyam sadhunam. The pure devotees is always within the core of my heart and I am always in their heart. So my devotees do not know anything else but me and I do not know anything else but them. So because of this, you might have cursed him. If Sudarshan Chakra is behind you, I cannot save you. You should go back to the same devotee and you should beg forgiveness. So when you beg forgiveness from the devotee, if he desires, so then you will be saved from Sudarshan Chakra. So then he comes back to Ambarish Maharaj and he begs forgiveness. But Ambarish Maharaj was not feeling that, yes, see how my prowess, he cursed me and now you see he is roaming around. He is not thinking like that. His consciousness was again, he was feeling that I could not serve Durvas Maharaj very well. So Durvas Muni very well. So we see that here, all these examples comes in Srimad Bhagavatam. And these all are examples of very exalted devotees. And their consciousness is also very, very exalted. And we are just practicing devotees. And obviously a thought comes that these are all theoretical exercises. Yes, this all happens. These devotees, they did not curse back. And as soon as some small thing happens to us, then immediately thoughts started coming. Why this devotee is like this? So then is it practical in our life that we can achieve such a stage? And sure enough, if somebody achieves that such a stage means he becomes so dear to the Lord that any such thing happens, Lord himself will be there to protect. It's not like one devotee becomes very tolerant, humble, and he allows himself to be exploited. If a devotee should try all his best to counteract all such things on his life, but at the same time, one should not be revengeful. So this is the main theme for all the devotees, what we are seeing. They may take an action, they may not take an action. But thing is, devotees are not revengeful. And because these examples are coming in Bhagavatam, that means it is achievable. Means it is given in the Bhagavatam, means it is for all of us. And so it is a challenge always. So when it comes to our own life, how do we take up the things when we discussed 5 different difficulties which comes. So Tiraskrita, Vipralabdha. So all these difficulties when it comes. So devotee should, some of the situations, devotee should feel that it is mercy of the Lord, it is arrangement of the Lord, or it is happening because of time factor, and devotee absorbs it. And because of this tolerance and forbearance, devotee becomes very dear to Krishna. At the same time, if someone is doing all this to a devotee and it is intolerable, then devotee may take action also. But when he's taking that action, he is not revengeful while taking this action. So these are the points which I wanted to share. And I pray that whatever I spoke, I'll be able to apply in my own life. Because I just spoke it from the Bhagavatam and etc. It's not like I am in that stage and I'm following it. So I end my discussion here. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.